manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are continuing to read Namacharya, the life of Srila Haridasa Thakur by His Grace Rupa Vilas Das. And we are on the section of the pastime with Jagannath Temple. That's where we are. And now let's read this section here, a solitary place. Haridasa Thakur said, "My dear Lord, please do not touch me, for I am most fallen and untouchable, and am lowest among men." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "I wish to touch you just to be purified, for your purified activities do not exist in me." Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport to the Lord's statement above, the servant thinks that he is most impure and that the master should not touch him. And the master thinks that because he has become impure by associating with so many impure living entities, he should touch a pure devotee like Haridasa Thakur just to purify himself. Actually, both the servant and the master are already purified because neither of them is in touch with the impurities of material existence. They're already equal in quality because both of them are the purest. There is a difference in quantity. However, because the master is unlimited and the servant is limited, consequently, the servant always remains subordinate to the master, and this relationship is eternal and undisturbed. As soon as the servant feels like becoming the master, he falls into Maya. Thus, it is by misuse of free will that one falls under the influence of Maya. The Lord glorified Haridasa Thakur, saying that he was better than any Brahmana or sannyasi. And then he took him within the secluded flower garden called Siddha Bakula, near his own residence at the house of Kashi Mishra, and requested him, "Remain here and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I shall personally come here to meet you daily. Remain here peacefully and look at the chakra on top of the temple and offer obeisances. As far as your prasad is concerned, I shall arrange to have that be sent here." Srila Prabhupada points out in the purport to the above verses that although Haridasa Thakur was born in a Mohammedan family, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have personally brought him before Lord Jagannath. However, neither the Lord nor Haridasa Thakur wanted to disturb the local custom. Therefore, by requesting Haridasa Thakur to meditate on the chakra of the Jagannath temple, the Lord indicated that this was equal to seeing the deity within. By promising to see him daily, he indicated that although by custom he was not considered qualified to enter the temple, Haridasa Thakur was so elevated that the Lord would come personally to see him and arrange for his prasadam. Srila Prabhupada also discusses the practice of chanting the holy name in seclusion. He points out that such a practice should only be initiated after receiving the direct order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his representative. Imitating a Mahabhagavad like Haridasa Thakur is not recommended. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur condemns such imitation as follows. Dustamana tumi kishera Vaishnava pratisthara tare nirjera gare tava hari nama kevala kaitava. My dear mind, you are trying to imitate Haridasa Thakur and chant the Hare Krishna mantra in a secluded place. But you are not worthy of being called a Vaishnava because what you want is cheap popularity and not the actual qualification of Haridasa Thakur. If you try to imitate him, you will fall down, for your neophyte position will cause you to think of women and money. Thus, you will fall into the clutches of Maya, and your so-called chanting in a secluded place will bring about your downfall. After all of the Vaishnavas had bathed in the ocean, they gathered in the presence of the Lord and took their lunch. Afterwards, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carefully delivered prasad into the hands of Govinda to be given to Haridas Thakur. Every day, without fail, the Lord arranged for prasad for Haridas Thakur and personally went to visit him. We can only try to imagine the exalted position of Namacharya Haridas Thakur. It can be understood from this incident that trying to enter the Jagannath temple is not very important. Just one second, Prabhu. Okay. Trying to enter. I lost the. Okay, here. Yeah, enter the Jagannath temple is not very important for Vaishnava outside of India, despite their having sufficient Brahminical qualification. What is important is to become purified by humbly chanting the holy name and serving the Vaishnavas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has often been quoted by Srila Prabhupada as saying, "Don't try to see Krishna, but act in such a way that Krishna will want to see you." This was Haridas Thakur's personal example and glory. He didn't attempt to contravene social convention. Rather, he simply behaved purely, and the Lord came to see him every day. This incident is very instructive for all of those whose birth in meat-eating families or families outside the boundaries of India is viewed as a disqualification by persons whose vision is affected by the three modes of nature. Okay, I'll stop here because there are several important points that we just saw in this brief reading. We had couple pages, right? So the first thing is here is that how I think Haridas Thakur's humility is really very striking. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already mentioned like how elevated he is. But in spite of that, he would just stay so far away from the temple because he felt that he was not qualified to go near the temple. And here is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And look at that reciprocation, right? So here is Srila Haridas Thakur's humility, and here is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's reciprocation with his pure devotee. He's saying that if I touch you, I am going to get purified. So, and then here Srila Prabhupada is explaining very well about how this is all about a very elevated devotees, the position and how they think, right? That the pure devotee is thinking that I'm not qualified and I cannot be touched or, anything I cannot do. That's how they think because of so much humility. And whereas the spiritual master is thinking that this pure devotee is actually going to cause me purity. But here Prabhupada is explaining that actually they both are not affected by the material modes. They both are pure. This is just out of humility and out of love for care, like the spiritual master's care, that he thinks like that. That was very beautiful how this has been explained, the reciprocation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then when we go down, one other important point mentioned here is about chanting in seclusion, right? So very clearly it is instructed here that unless the direction or order is given by the spiritual master, we are not supposed to be, like when it means chanting in seclusion is like you cut away from everybody and you just go and chant in a solitary place, like completely away from everybody. It is not recommended at all, especially for us, right? It is not recommended because for us, it is recommended that we chant with, like when we say chant, it is not just chanting the holy name like Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chanting is also meaning that speaking about the Lord, glories of the Lord and everything. So what it means is that we do not cut ourselves off from the devotee association because we are not qualified enough and we are not at that level. That's exactly what even Srila Prabhupada is explaining, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also explaining, is that we are not in that level. I mean, we are not in that pure level. So if we cut ourselves off from the devotee association, that is going to cause us fall down. So, this is a very important point. I feel like that, because when we are in the devotee association, right? When we, even now, see, Sri Krishna Janmashtami happened. There were so many important tasks, so many important things had to be taken care of, and everybody worked with each other in completely like collaborating with each other and everything. And we all know when we all come together, we are all not pure yet. So we do have some indifferences. We may have things the way we want to do differently, or sometimes we come short with some of the things that we need. But in spite of all of that, we still forgive each other, forget things, forgive and all of that, and we still work with each other and then move along. We are not going to really focus so much on the shortcomings, or wherever things went wrong and things like that. Of course, we want to get the feedback and improve in the future, but that doesn't mean that we are going to ruin our relationship with any of the devotees or anything like that. So that's very important, right? So I was just mentioning this because anything happens, all of the challenges that happens within the devotee relationships and everything like that is really an opportunity for us to purify ourselves. But that doesn't mean then we try to stay away from the devotee association or try to stay away from the temple. We should never do that. We should always take this as an opportunity, because I need some purification, and Krishna has just presented whatever opportunity it is for me to purify myself. And then still keep moving along, still keep moving along. And then if there is any mistake or any offense I committed to anybody, I will just ask for forgiveness, but I will still not stop associating with devotees or even going to the temple or any of that, because that is huge. Sometimes, devotees think that, oh, there's so much this and that. I'll just stay at home and I'll just practice. That won't happen. It's very easy to get distracted, because I'll tell you, this world, Maya as we know it, right? Everything is so much full of distraction, even going to work, even associating with others outside. I'm just saying, it's so easy to get lost in this world. So it's really the devotees and the association that is keeping us where we are today. I can just attest to that. So I really appreciate, I am so thankful, so much gratitude for this devotee association that we have here in our congregation of Phoenix. And as I said, you know what? Nobody is perfect. None of us are perfect, but we all are trying what we can do in our best capability, and asking for grace from Krishna and also all of the devotees, so we can progress in our path of bhakti. If you can scroll down, Prabhu, where else? Yeah, the last important point is also about visiting the temple, right? I mean, we know that Jagannath temple is very strict. They only allow devotees with Indian background to enter the temple. So it's just very sad, right? When Srila Prabhupada also took all the devotees from here, they could not go inside the temple. Even today, like when Maharaj took everybody to Jagannath temple, it's sad. Like Maharaj cannot enter the temple, but it's just that here the focus is given. Srila Prabhupada is explaining that it's not that we have to go inside and see the deity, but more important is chanting the holy name and serving the Vaishnavas. That is really the most elevated thing. So many times I have to think about that too, because many a times you want to do direct service, right? All along, I keep thinking, what is more important? Going to the altar, doing direct service? Yes, that is definitely important. However, if you really look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, it is more important that we take the holy name and we take it and spread it out in the world. Just on Friday, there was an event at ASU, and there was Ananta Chaitanya Prabhu and all the ASU, Nikhit and everybody else, the group of ASU Bhakti Yoga Club students, right? Mohit Prabhu and everybody, Rajesh Prabhu, we were all there. It was so nice to see. Hundreds of students were there. and taking the holy name, giving it to them. See, now that is something so much more like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be so happy with that. Because for us, I'll tell you, we coming from Indian background, sometimes I think we tend to give so much more importance. Everything is important. We know the 5 important aspects of deity service, like the deity, association with devotees, chanting the holy name, residing in the holy place. All of that is important. However, being in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, the most important thing is really sharing this holy name, sharing the Krishna's message with those out there in the world who will never get a chance to listen to this holy name. I think that is the most important, crucial part of our movement. And I think we should not forget that. As I said, it's very easy to get so focused in the temple and the temple services, but we have to take all of that, build ourselves up, make ourselves strong, and then take all of this and then start sharing with the entire world outside. So with that, I would like to end, and then we can continue chanting. Thank you so much.